Hi everyone, Raani here. You're listening to Clean With Me, the podcast where I talk you through cleaning your house. Thanks for joining me. In this episode, we're going to spend about 45 minutes putting a serious dent in your housework. Let's get right into the episode. It's time to gear up for our cleaning session. You're going to want to freshen up if you haven't already done so. Put on something comfortable that you'd like to clean in. Maybe run a brush through your hair, wash your face, whatever makes you feel ready for the day. You also might want to set the mood by lighting a candle or putting some fresh wax in your wax warmer. I know I like the pumpkin spice scented wax. I'm not really big on like pumpkin spice coffees or any of that, but I like actual pumpkin pie and I like the scented candles. Another thing that you're going to want to do possibly is a laundry switch. So maybe it's time to switch that laundry from the washing machine into the dryer, or if you're just getting started for the day, maybe it's time to start a load in the washing machine. Or maybe there's just something in your house that's making it look particularly messy. For example, if your kids were wrapping presents in the middle of your living room and the wrapping paper is still laying there on the floor, there's just one example. So sometimes there's just kind of a glaring problem that you want to take care of. To me, it's better to take care of that glaring problem before I start cleaning the kitchen or doing whatever else, because it's something that's bothering me. And you know me, if you've been listening for a while, you know I don't like to get caught with a mess, so to speak, by anyone. So anyway, let's take care of any glaring problems, anything that's just kind of out in the middle of the floor, or trash. Maybe somebody left some fast food trash on a table in your living room. No judgment here. We've got a very busy household, lot going on. So again, for the first few minutes, we're going to just gear up for the cleaning session, which could mean freshening up. It could mean lighting a candle. It could mean starting some laundry. Or it could mean just taking care of a glaring problem that you want to deal with before you do dishes or whatever else. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes to do whatever needs to be done before we head to the kitchen. Jessica's been super busy, so if you're a Jessica fan, you're stuck with me today. But yeah, it's just busy this time of year in general, and we both work, and there's just a lot going on. But I know I keep saying this, but I am going to try to be more consistent with recording an episode. One way or another, one of us is going to record an episode. So again, it's time to kind of gear up for your cleaning session. If you're like me, you're super busy this time of year. I'm recording this episode in December, if you're listening in the future, and there's just a lot going on. We were in a parade Saturday for my kids' school. We've been Christmas shopping, which it always takes a lot longer than you think it's going to take. Like with doing dishes, I tell you, it's not going to take as long as you think, so there's no reason to put it off. Well, with Christmas shopping, it might take longer than you thought. So get started early, folks. I'm not one of these people who starts Christmas shopping in August. I don't really want to spend the money until I have to, and a lot of times I just can't start early. But every year I tell myself I'm going to get started a little earlier. And it's not like I waited till the absolute last minute. I did start my Christmas shopping on Black Friday. For me, that's early. Like, I know for some people that's the kickoff of the Christmas shopping season. For me, that was kind of early. But I've gotten to the point where one day isn't enough. with grandkids and everything. So, yeah, I'm almost done though. I've really gotten the most important parts of my Christmas shopping done. Like the people remaining on my list are kind of maybes anyway, and they could be kind of last minute. They could be gift cards, but I've gotten my kids done. So, and grandkids. So anyway, let's move on. You've had enough time to gear up for the cleaning session. It's time to head to your kitchen. If you're new to the show, don't feel like you have to be doing exactly what I'm talking about. I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to motivate you. And if you do want to clean along with the show, just try to stay in the room or the area that I'm talking about. We're going to spend at least 20 minutes in the kitchen. So the first thing I typically do when I walk into the kitchen, I look around at the mess and then I remember, oh yeah, I need to gather up dishes from around the house. So that means heading to my bedroom nightstand to see if there's a coffee mug or a glass sitting there. And then I also check my husband's nightstand. If it's a day when my kids are home, I will say like gather up, and they know what it means and they'll go looking for things. Typically, I have 3 kids living at home. The 2 younger ones don't typically keep any dishes in their room, but the 16-year-old sometimes will have, a plate or bowl in his room, and that's got to get gathered up so that we can do dishes. And obviously, ideally, everyone should be taking their dish to the sink, rinsing it off. Okay, but yeah, none of us are perfect. So anyway, we get everything gathered up so that when we do load the dishwasher, everything goes in. And I realize you might be washing by hand, but still you want to have everything in the kitchen before you begin. So once you've gathered up any stray dishes, cups, glasses from around the house, you're going to want to do kind of some decluttering of the countertops. You're going to want to remove any trash. Perhaps somebody opened a package, left it there, a plastic bag, something like that. So you're going to eliminate any trash that was left out, and then you're also going to put anything away that's out of place. For example, the ketchup or some salt and pepper, some seasonings, just things that got left out during the food preparation process. And again, the aim is to clean as we go, but if we did that, we probably wouldn't need a full 20 minutes in the kitchen. Okay. And don't feel bad right now if you're thinking like, I need like an hour to get this kitchen clean or an hour and a half. No judgment here if you're facing a disaster, but for a lot of us, we can knock that out in 20 or 25 minutes on a typical day. So I'm just kind of assuming this is a typical day. But if it's not, the kitchen is such a priority that I would encourage you to stay in the kitchen even when I move on to another area. You could even move to another episode after the kitchen session and do another kitchen one and just go deeper with your cleaning. But anyway, I throw away trash. I put stuff away. Maybe a box of cereal was left out. I put that away. And as I'm doing this, I'm just kind of moving any dishes over to the sink area. The next thing would be to put away any clean dishes. That could be in a drying rack. It could be in your dishwasher. If you're like me, could be both. So it makes it so much easier if you put everything away before you try to wash more stuff. And it's common sense, but sometimes just we have so much on our minds that we need these little reminders. So let's put away our clean dishes. When you're getting ready for overnight guests, and that may not be your current situation, but I'm going to talk about it because it's what I'm doing. I am going to be having company for several days over Christmas, and decluttering is definitely in order because, of course, just before your guests arrive, you're going to clean your house. You're going to do your dishes. You're going to wipe down surfaces. You're going to vacuum. You may scrub baseboards. You're going to, deep clean your bathrooms. You're going to change sheets for your guests. All the things. But what's going to still make your house look a little messy, even if you do those cleaning chores, are those clutter issues, and when people are staying at your house, they open cupboards and drawers and things like that. So, not trying to put you in a panic or anything, but as you're cleaning your kitchen today, if you are going to have overnight guests in the near future, you may want, or even if you're not, you may want to consider decluttering as you go. If you see a problem, deal with it. If you see something that maybe you need to get rid of, deal with it. So, and a lot of times it's not so much, decluttering isn't always getting rid of stuff. I talk about getting rid of stuff a lot, but that's not all it is. A lot of times it's just returning things where they go. Like, I have a strange system, and obviously be doing dishes while I talk. If you've already emptied your dishwasher or put away your clean dishes from your drying rack, it's time to wash dishes. Maybe it's time to pre-rinse and start soaking that first sink load, or empty, reload, and run your dishwasher. Whatever doing dishes means for you today, get started on that. Save those bigger pots and pans for last, but maybe get those soaking while you work on the quote unquote small stuff. That's what I tell the kids, like, only put the small stuff in the dishwasher. Like, I'm allowed to put large pots and pans in the dishwasher, but they've got to be placed kind of strategically. I'm kind of picky about it. So when I have kids do the dishwasher, I'm talking about small stuff, meaning silverware, cups, bowls, plates. So anyway, just be working on the dishes. You know how to do your dishes. Whatever it means for you, be working on that. But a lot of times, the spices. For example, my seasonings and spices. There's a little cupboard above the stove and to the right that's just kind of the logical place that you would reach for salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, those common staples that you use in a lot of your cooking. And it could be different for you, but those everyday seasonings go right there. Then I have like something that I call the Lazy Susan cupboard, because Lazy Susan is a thing that kind of like spins around. I think a Lazy Susan actually refers to the thing that you would put on your table, and then it could spin around for people to get different things. Like if you were eating at the table and you wanted a little thing to twirl around for sauces or something like that. But I have a thing that I call the Lazy Susan cupboard, because it has two shelves that like spin. That's where our more exotic seasonings go, just the things that aren't everyday seasonings. Because yes, I do cook with a lot more seasonings than what I just mentioned. So that's kind of my thing. But my husband does a lot of the cooking. So that little cupboard that's for just the salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, maybe one other favorite seasoning or whatever, just tends to fill up, because when he's cooking, he takes things out of the Lazy Susan cupboard, and then when he puts them away, they go into that little salt and pepper cupboard. If that makes sense. So anyway, that's something that I just kind of deal with. I just kind of put things back. I mentioned it before, but I'm not going to keep talking about it to him. So I just, because, he does a lot of the cooking and I like that. So anyway, that's one of the ways I declutter, is getting that down, because I don't want to open that, because you're probably thinking, well, why don't you just keep everything there? I don't want to open that and have trouble finding the salt. You know what I mean? So returning things where they're supposed to be, especially if someone other than yourself uses the kitchen. The other thing that we're actually doing well with, like the whole family gets this, is I put a box inside of my pots and pans cupboard. The island in my kitchen where I put the pots and pans has a box in it where we put the glass lids. And that's just been super convenient for finding lids. So I definitely recommend having, and some people have like a little rack for them or whatever. For us, we just gently place them in this large box, and there aren't a ton of lids, so it's not that hard to find them, but it just makes it so easy to find a lid. The other day, again, be washing dishes. Don't let me distract you. I'm just here to talk you through it. But the other day, I went to make something. Oh, I was going to make rice. And there's that one rice pot, because you know how temperamental rice can be. If you're like me, you have a favorite rice pot, and you know that pot and that lid is what it takes for the rice to turn out right. And I'm not a big fan of rice, but my husband and kids like it, so we do eat rice. So when we make white rice on the stove, we use a certain pot. It's a saucepan, and it has a little lid and everything. And the lid was not in that box. So I checked the drying rack, and I checked the dishwasher and the sink, and it wasn't in any of those places either. And it was not in the refrigerator because that was the only pan that it fit on. So, you know, and sometimes people do stick a pan in the refrigerator, you know, instead of putting the leftovers into a different container. You know how it is. But I didn't spend a lot of time. My point is, I didn't spend a lot of time looking for that lid because everyone knows it goes in the box and nobody puts it anywhere else unless it's being washed or dried. So I knew it was missing. So then it was like, hey, did somebody break that lid? Because it is a glass lid. And my youngest son confessed that he broke that lid recently. So that's definitely a system. You know, my seasoning system doesn't work real well as far as other people abiding by it. But the thing with the pots and pan lids, works really well, because when it wasn't in the box, it was because it was literally shattered and thrown away. So my teenage son, of course, was like, hey, I'll go to the store and get a new one. So I was like, okay, get this exact same pan, because we kind of need another one anyway. We need another saucepan anyway for vegetables. And then the lid could just be interchangeable between the two, because, you know, you've got your rice going with the lid, and then you have just an open saucepan with the vegetables. I don't know if you cook exactly the same way we do, but I feel like a lot of this is universal. So anyway, that's kind of one of our organization systems if you struggle with finding lids. Obviously, if you have more lids, you might need a special rack for them or something different, but the box thing works pretty well with us. I'm somewhat minimalist. Basically, I don't, on an everyday basis, use as many pots and pans as I would on, say, Thanksgiving. So some things I put in a cupboard. I take them out of circulation. There's a cupboard up above the fridge that's super hard to reach. There's a couple giant pans up there that I don't normally use unless I'm cooking for a large group. So anyway, not to go on and on there, but I like to talk about dishes while you're washing dishes. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but another area that I decluttered while working in the kitchen was the silverware drawer. You know, maybe it's time to part with those Taco Bell sauces. You're going to get more of those anyway. But yeah. And another thing is, I found that when you haven't had overnight guests in a while, you end up buying a lot of stuff. It's crazy. But I got, in case you're, you know, kind of wanting to add some things to your shopping list when you're out Christmas shopping and you're like, okay, I also need things for the dinner. I needed an extra serving spoon, more coffee mugs, Because when you're going to have people getting up in the morning and you need those mugs, and we have a lot of the tall commuter mugs, but the last time my Keurig broke, I got like the small Betty Crocker K-cup brewer thing. This is not a recommendation. It does the job, but it's not my favorite thing. But it doesn't have, the thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have enough room to stick a commuter cup like in it. You have to use a short mug. And if you're like me and you use like a ton of milk in your coffee, there's not a lot of room for milk when you're using a short or small mug. But anyway, it's going to work fine for my guests. And because I'm doing a different coffee thing for myself, I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I had to get some mugs. That was something on my list. And a tablecloth and things like that. Table candles. If you have like candlestick holders, you might need to pick up some table candles. That really kind of adds to the ambiance. I kind of joked that Thanksgiving was our practice run for Christmas because I kind of looked around and was like, okay, we need different glasses. We need this, we need that. So anyway, if you don't want to spend the money because of Christmas gifts, I get that. Everybody kind of has their hand out too. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but charities and things that you're a part of will reach out to you and ask you to make donations and stuff. And I get that. And yes, I do give to charity. I give to my church and give to charity and things like that. But I'm not really a fan of making extra donations at the same time that I'm shopping for Christmas gifts and getting ready, getting the supplies needed for, hosting a holiday dinner and overnight guests and all that. It's a lot at once. Okay. It's a lot. Again, I do give to the less fortunate, but I'm saying it's a lot when you're asked to do that at the exact same time. I'm going to give you about 4 more minutes in the kitchen. Once you get your dishes done, and don't feel bad if they're not done, don't panic. Just keep plugging away at those dishes. Some people tell me that during a 1-hour episode, all they get done are their dishes. Well, if that's what it took to get your dishes done, I'm so glad that you got them done during that episode. You can always take a break and listen to another episode and work on some other stuff. Or, clean the rest of the house another day. The kitchen is the heart of your home. It's important. You've got to do the dishes. But more often than not, it builds momentum. If you're like me, I get excited when the kitchen's done because I like doing the rest of the chores a lot more than the kitchen. So it's like now I can clean the rest of my house guilt-free. Sounds funny, but that's how I think. And your thought process is important when you're trying to keep up on housework and you're facing a lot of chores. I mean, just having the right mindset, having a positive mindset, it's vital. It's vital. So again, just a few more minutes in the kitchen, but after your dishes are done, you're going to want to wipe down your surfaces. And if you're expecting company, kind of look at your countertops with, or even if you're not expecting company, with kind of the eyes of someone else. Like, does this look cluttered? Is this a nice aesthetic? And it could be that certain things that are sitting out on your countertop have become part of the decor. You're used to seeing them, but they don't really need to be there. Maybe it's time, maybe you're not going to be using your Instant Pot over the next couple weeks when you're Christmas shopping and picking up fast food or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you need to put that away to make more space. Just saying. Let's see. Coffee station. Does anybody else try to kind of have like a nice coffee station for guests? I used to be really obsessed with a coffee station. I had this like side table thing, and I probably talked about this, but I don't expect you to have heard every episode or to remember everything. This side table thing in my formal dining room at an old house several years back. And at one time I had 2 different coffee makers, like a regular Keurig and then like a cappuccino maker slash coffee pot brewer like system. I had like two different systems. I had the little spinny thing to rotate the K-cups, which I still have that item. And, I had plenty of room to set up all these cute mugs and different things because it wasn't even in my kitchen. It wasn't taking up counter space. But at my current home, there's not really a place. That'd be weird if I had it in my living room. You know what I mean? There's not another place other than the kitchen for my coffee station. I guess I could have a separate piece of furniture set up in my like nook area because I have a kitchen and dining room that's all one room. But I'm not trying to rush out. I know I said I've been spending a lot of money, but I'm definitely not trying to rush out and get a piece of furniture. That's taking it too far. So, my coffee maker, my sorry excuse for a K-cup brewer, is on the kitchen counter. And the way I have it, there's a little cupboard above it. So the little rotisserie, that's not the right word, but the little turntable with the K-cups is actually in the cupboard. It's not out on display. That's when Keurigs were more of a newish thing, and I was excited about displaying the K-cups. Not so much anymore, so that thing is in a cupboard. So basically, when you open the cupboard right above the K-cup brewer, you will find a container with sugar. You'll find some pumpkin spice for those who like that. You'll find hot cocoa mix, just, different teas, honey, all the things, okay, for the hot drinks and whatnot. You'll find all that right above it. And obviously with a guest, you'd kind of open that like everything you need's up here. But the problem was that, again, be wiping down surfaces while I talk, countertop, stovetop, fronts of appliances, and then when you're done with that, sweep the floor. We've got to leave the kitchen soon, so I'm just going to finish talking about this coffee station thing, and then we'll move on to your living areas. So if you're done with the kitchen, go ahead of me and head to the living room. But anyway, the problem was there's not a large space where you pour the water in. You open it up and it's like you're kind of pouring the water behind where the K-cup goes. It's a very small machine compared to what I've had in the past. And so I would take my mug, fill it up at the sink, and then pour the water in. But sometimes a little bit would splash out onto the countertop. It seemed like kind of a primitive system. So I thought, what if I had some type of a little white porcelain like pitcher, like one would use for cream and sugar for pouring the water in, because I'm just picturing my mom trying to operate this thing and just whatever. So anyway, I didn't want her to disapprove or think it was messy. So we were out shopping. I was trying to describe to my husband what I want. All of a sudden he finds this like gift pack, these different like gift sets or whatever, where it's something, it's like a stoneware mug, almost like a mug, but it doesn't look like a mug because it's a lot taller and it has an actual pour spout on it, white stoneware. And he's like, look, I found something. And I'm like, it's perfect. So, and it came with like some hot cocoa mix and a hand frother or whatever, but I was buying it just for this picture thing. So anyway, now I have like this little tray. It's like a green and white tray with little Christmas trees on it. I have the K-cup brewer sitting on top of that, and then I just have that empty container. And then, okay guys, family meeting, nobody's allowed to drink out of this. This is for pouring water into, we call it the Keurig, even though it's not that brand. This is for pouring water into the Keurig. Oh, okay. And so the next morning I tried it and I was like, this is great. Like, why didn't I do this for myself? But the thing, there are a lot of things you just do when you're expecting company. That's why it's good to invite people over once in a while. You really get your house organized. But I spent longer than I wanted to in the kitchen. So I'm going to move on to your outer areas. And what we're going to do right now for the next 5 minutes, you're going to pick up your outer areas. If you have a huge house with 2 or 3 living areas, then that might not be enough time. Maybe you can prioritize. But for me, it's that living room entryway combo. If you have a separate living room and family room, maybe you want to pick which room needs to be picked up. Maybe you're worried about the front entrance of your home, or maybe you're like, no, I keep the front entrance perpetually clean, but my family room in the back is what's cluttered. Because when I had more of a, front entrance situation going on at my house, I kept that area clean. My neighbor told me, your house is always clean, when she would randomly come to the door. And it was because I prioritized that. But that's a lot easier in a bigger house. The house was only a little bit bigger, but different floor plan, I should say. But in a certain floor plans, it's easy to keep your entryway looking good. But if that's the one room where everybody lives, it's your main living room, then, that could get cluttered. So during this time, I want you to pick up any clutter. Our front room, I do say, this is the front of our house. We've got to keep this clean, but it also gets cluttered. Remember the wrapping paper I mentioned? That's literally there right now. That wasn't that wasn't made up. So anyway, yeah, I'll worry about that later though on my lunch break, because I am going to be working from home today, as I do Monday through Friday these days. And so I will straighten up the front room a little bit and get my machines running. Dishwasher, washing machine. That's what I do when I'm on a break working from home. But this episode is for someone who has time to clean, perhaps on a Saturday, an evening, or perhaps you aren't working outside the home or whatever. Anyway, whatever your situation, I definitely recommend at times when you only have 30 minutes to get your machines running, because I have a 30-minute break and it really kind of keeps my house functioning when I do that laundry switch and start a new load and run at least one load in the dishwasher. And, when you're sedentary, working on a computer, it feels good to get up and move around anyway. There's a part of me that's like, I shouldn't have to clean on my break. But, I thank myself later. Okay. So anyway, be straightening up your front rooms. It mainly just involves removing clutter, things that don't belong there, straightening your couch cushions and throw pillows, and then dusting. Recently, my 19-year-old daughter, who doesn't even live with us, dusted my living room. She's like, I dusted my piano, because she wants me to give her that piano. But anyway, for her house. But yeah, dusting. It looked really nice when she dusted. So, the way I do my TV is just with a microfiber cloth and a tiny amount of water. But yeah, however you dust, pick up real quick. And, maybe you don't have time to dust. It's still really important. The dusting will still be there. There's certain things you can come back to, but you don't want to live in clutter. So, if you want to save the dusting for tomorrow because there's a lot of clutter in your living room, that's fine. We're only going to spend a couple more minutes. You can get a lot done in 5 minutes just straightening up a room. Not if it's the kitchen, but, for a family room or living room or entryway. Maybe you have some surfaces that are getting overly cluttered. Like if you have kind of a launch pad near your front door, some kind of a table where you keep your keys, your glasses, maybe things that need to be mailed, packages this time of year that you're mailing out. Make sure that you're not turning that into a hot spot for clutter. You may need to put some things away. I talk about the top of my piano. There are only a few items: picture frame, a basket. Now I have my wax warmer there. I speaking of removing clutter off your countertops, it was just becoming a bit much that I had my wax warmer on the kitchen counter. So I decided that could go on the piano by the front door. That way when people walk in, the first impression they get is that scent. And I'm not constantly, doing that, but obviously when I'm expecting company. Get that pumpkin spice scent going on. Anyway, hopefully I gave you just a couple minutes to quickly straighten up the living room. It never takes as long as you think it's going to take. So there's that. Let's see. How about the bathroom? Let's spend about 15 minutes, maybe 10, because I have to start work soon. But let's spend about 10 minutes in the bathroom. Let's see. First thing I would do is probably put a chemical in the toilet bowl. If there's some kind of a ring and you need like something to soak or whatever, I would kind of put my cleaning product in the toilet bowl first to kind of get that going. Maybe put something in, give it a swish, add more of it depending on what you're doing. But like when I use like Comet or Ajax, I like to kind of give it a swish and then sprinkle it again so that the sides of the toilet bowl are wet and then the powder sticks, if that makes sense. Anyway, get something in your toilet bowl, whatever you use to clean. Maybe use a greener product than I do, but just get something in there. And then it's time to clear off your countertop because you're going to be spraying and whatnot. Move everything somewhere else so that you can clean your counter, your sink, faucet, mirror, get all that cleaned up. So, maybe you need a minute to go gather up your products that you use. I like using cleaning wipes, and then I also like to use a microfiber cloth. I like to use a disinfecting cleaning wipes. I like to use a microfiber cloth and some glass cleaning spray. I do that part at the end, after I have scrubbed the sink countertop and, the hardware, the handles and stuff, because I tend to splash stuff up onto the mirror while I'm cleaning. So that's why the mirror is cleaned last. So again, you're going to clean your countertop, sink, handles, mirror. Then you're going to put everything back. And then you're going to want to detail the toilet. You're going to want to clean the toilet seat, behind the seat, the lid, just everywhere. You can remove your toilet seat to deep clean it, or you can just use a tool and really get around the edges like a scrubbing tool or something. But maybe you're in a hurry today and you're just wiping things down. Don't forget to clean the outside of your toilet bowl, and especially if you're having company, go all the way down and clean around the bottom of it. If somebody gets sick, that could be on their hands and knees around your toilet, and they're going to see a lot of buildup and dust if you haven't really cleaned the bottom of it in a while. Sometimes there's that temptation to just sanitize the parts of the toilet that you touch and scrub the bowl and not necessarily get down on the floor, but you got to do that, and it only takes a few minutes. Maybe you want to think about, while you're working in the bathroom, maybe you want to think about little finishing touches for guests. I like to put out a fresh hand towel for sure. You don't want one that's been there for a while. Sometimes it's nice to have some kind of spray in case someone wants to spray after they use the restroom. Sometimes that's nice. Sometimes I like to light. I don't do this when I'm having a bunch of small children over. Okay. But if you're not having small children over, sometimes it's nice when you're having a party to light a candle, a scented candle in the bathroom. It just kind of, creates a welcoming atmosphere and it smells good and everything. But yeah, definitely don't have lit candles in the bathroom within the reach of children. So, but yeah, that's a thing that I've done in the past because my youngest child is about to turn 11. Okay, but I'm going to have grandkids over, so we're not going to be sending them into the bathroom to go in and shut the door and be alone with a lit candle. A 3 and 5-year-old. That's not happening. But think about finishing touches like that for guests, though, depending on your situation. Let's see. Maybe you want to put up a Christmas decoration or something. I always think that I want to decorate my bathroom for Christmas, but I didn't really get any, there's a limit to how much I'm willing to spend. I didn't really get a Christmassy towel for that bathroom, a hand towel. That would have been cute, but I didn't really do that. And there's not really, I like my permanent decorations so much. I have just like 2 things hanging on the walls, but it's a small bathroom and I like my permanent decorations too much to swap them out for Christmas decorations. And there's just not a ton of counter space. 3 kids get ready in that bathroom every day, so I'm not going to clutter it up with decorations, and that's okay. I mean, just outside the bathroom, there's a decoration in the hallway. So anyway, the only thing I could think of that would have been a cute decoration would be like a soap pump that's Christmassy, but I didn't end up wanting to do that. There were some soap pumps that I thought were so cute. They were like $7.99, and I was thinking, okay, here's my money saving tip. When buying things to entertain guests for a holiday dinner, don't buy only holiday themed items. Like with the coffee mugs. Only one of the ones we bought was a Christmas mug. We bought like 4 that weren't Christmas mugs. Because a lot of the stuff, I want to be able to use. Or serving. There was even serving dishes serving spoons that were cute, but they were Christmas serving spoons. And I was thinking, no, I just need serving spoons that I'm going to be using. Try to spend more on the stuff you use all the time. I'm kind of minimalist with decor. Yes, we have a Christmas tree up. We have a few cute little signs and things. And then I've got kind of some fake pine weaving around this kind of like pass-through wall thing. I have little things that I do, but I don't want to invest in a bunch of decorations. What I do want to do is think about what's missing in my house that could make it better and more welcoming to guests, but that I would also enjoy myself and be glad to have after Christmas is over. So anyway, be working in your bathroom. We've got a few more minutes in there. Quick talk on, tubs and showers during busy seasons of life, or just in general. I feel like if you are cleaning your house in 45 minutes or an hour and you scrub a bathtub or shower, sometimes that can be kind of exerting and you could lose momentum and then not finish the rest of your house. So, if this is a day that you're just like, I want to tackle the bathroom today, great. Scrub your shower or your bathtub, but I'm not really allowing enough time in this session for that. And years ago, I started cleaning my tub or shower when I was in it. Like, you clean a shower while you're taking a shower. You clean a tub while you're getting out of it. That's just kind of what I do. Obviously, I'm not just sitting soaking in the cleaning products. That's why I say like while you're getting out of it. But I'm talking about like when you're undressed to shower or take a bath. Could be a great time. Not when you're getting ready to go somewhere in the morning, but maybe on a leisurely Saturday or just a day where you're not going anywhere or you're not in a hurry. To me, just that makes a lot more sense than to make it part of the cleaning session. I do it both ways. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm like, I'm going to tackle the bathroom and I'm using like that tool that's on a stick so that I don't have to bend when I'm cleaning the tub. But other times I'm like kind of just inside the tub, squatting down and cleaning it with a smaller tool right after I've taken a bath. So just a thought there. Again, I'm just not allowing enough time for you to deep clean a shower or tub, but you do want to do that, especially if you're having overnight guests. You may want to give it an even deeper clean than usual, but it could be incorporated with your own bath or shower time. I've even done a thing where I've taken a bath, cleaned it as I was getting out of it, and then like gone into the shower, like wrap myself in a towel, head to the other bathroom, go into the shower, clean that. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do that. Hopefully I gave you enough time to clean a small bathroom. You may have more than one bathroom, I get that, but this show is designed to usually just clean one bathroom during the show, and then you could listen to another episode either today or tomorrow and clean a different bathroom during that episode, if it's a whole house episode like this one. Okay, for these last few minutes, I am going to have you head to a bedroom. This could be your own bedroom. Sometimes just making your bed, and maybe you're perfect and you make your bed as soon as you get out of it. I've been trying to do that because otherwise, like, one of my dogs kind of gets some sediment on the bed. It's really gross. And so if I make the bed, she's not getting in my sheets. You know what I mean? From when she goes in and out tracking stuff in or something. I don't know. Hopefully that wasn't too gross or too TMI. But yeah, if you're finding like some grit in your bed from your dog, like tracking in sand or something, you may want to make your bed the second you get out of it. But no judgment here if you did not make your bed the second you got out of it. Making your bed right now would make a huge difference in your room. And then just picking up any laundry that you or your significant other left on the floor and, putting that into the hamper. That right there is going to make a huge difference, and it only takes a few minutes. Or maybe you have a different priority. Maybe you have a small child and you need to go change the sheets on your kid's bed today. Or maybe you want to strip your bed and put the sheets into the washing machine. I find it helpful to set a timer on my phone to remind me to switch the sheets into the dryer so that I get the bed made up before my husband gets home from work. This is probably I'm talking more from a place when I wasn't working from home, because I'm not expected to do all that while I'm working. But, if he was working on a Saturday, I would try to have the fresh sheets on by the time he gets back in case he goes straight to bed. But let's see. Yeah. When I'm working, it's like I feel like it's a bonus if I get something done during the 30-minute break. Like, I'm not going to clean my whole house, but if I do get my machines running, if I wash some laundry and dry it, if I, do the dishes, great. If I straighten up the living room, great. But that's about all I have time to do. Changing sheets and whatnot would be done on a Saturday. So yeah, spend a couple minutes in a bedroom, whether it's just to get some sheets into the washing machine or to make a bed, pick up. I'm only going to give you a couple more minutes because I've got to get to work. But yeah, something about setting a timer for laundry. Just while I'm on that subject, it's not just about when you change the sheets. You don't want to forget to put things in the dryer and then have them stink. When that does happen, I add a little bit of white vinegar when I rewash the load. But, let's face it, that's definitely a waste when that happens. It's irritating when that happens. It's a waste of water, electricity. It costs money, soap, vinegar, all the things. So setting timers is good. And, set alarms on your phone just to remind you of everything in life. I mean, I definitely do. So, sometimes people are like, what's that for? What's that for? Because I have alarms going off and they're labeled for different things. So I definitely, if you tend to be a little scatterbrained and forget to dry your sheets or your other laundry, definitely set a timer. Also, when you were cleaning the kitchen, if you left a few large pots and pans to soak that you didn't get to, or maybe you had so many dishes that you need to do a second dishwasher load if you have a huge family and whatnot. Setting a timer can help you get all those things done when you want to get them done. Maybe you have a self-imposed deadline, significant other getting home from work, or you need to be somewhere, or whatever. Yeah, kind of my rule when I'm cleaning the kitchen, if I do it really early, I may not hand wash anything. I might just set a timer for like 2.5 hours, reminding me to go back, empty, reload, and run the dishwasher again. Kind of frees me up to do other things during the day. But if I'm cleaning the house at the end of the day, and I'm getting ready to make dinner, then I'm going to have to just wash everything by hand that didn't fit in the dishwasher. Make sense? I hope you got a lot done in this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. We make a little money just when you listen to the show. Special thanks to our financial supporters. But again, all we expect you to do is just listen, because that's what keeps our show going. And it's paid for by those little radio style commercials that you hear off and on during the episode. So thanks for putting up with those. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. Happy holidays, and as always, and Merry Christmas, and as always, happy cleaning. I'll talk to you in the next episode.